That you still, I know this is building a team 101. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think I thought our execution was pretty good. We had a stretch there where we turned the ball over a little bit, even though the possessions were the same with rebounds and turnovers. But, yeah, I think our guys are trying. We have to do a better job in 50-50 balls and rebounds. We're touching a lot of basketballs and we're not getting a lot. And that's just not our big guys. That's everybody. And I thought we got some key rebounds at the end of the game. But if you're not great at rebounding the basketball and you're not great at keeping the ball out of the paint, you're just going to be behind plays all the time. And it just looked like we were behind plays, especially in the second half, a lot. And we got to do a better job containing it, and we got to do a better job of getting it off the glass. But a lot of times they don't understand, embracing the physicality of the game. You hit people to gain position so you can get the basketball. You don't hit people for the sake of hitting them, and it doesn't gain you an advantage. So, being in a good defensive position and, not getting behind plays. But if you're always helping people, you're not in a great block-out position. You're constantly helping on the basketball, and I just thought we were helping way too much. And you're going to have to help in basketball. You are, but you can't live in help. At times we were living in help, and then now we're getting some stops because we were swarming the basketball, and then weak side we're not in a great position. So we just got to keep working. Obviously we're trying to gel a team and get better. I thought our bench really helped us. I thought Miles Colvin offensively and defensively did some good things for us. I thought he came in with a really good mentality in our last game to defend, and he carried that over to this game, and that we need to see that consistency from him, and he'll put himself in a much better position. He put himself in a much better position today, and I thought C.J. Cox really helped us, and it was great to see Cam, get some opportunities. He hadn't had a lot of opportunities, but he went up and got some key rebounds for us and made a couple big threes. C.J. Cox, when Braden turned it over a couple times, came in and got an and one, made a pull-up, and, kind of settled us down there. So good team win, and we just got to stay with it.
Hey, Matt, do you think, real quickly, do you think that's just a product of these guys really not – I know they played together some last year.
Yep.
Edie was out there. Now they're playing – they have to learn how to play without him. Is that
Right.
is that hard?
No, not offensively.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to have guys that can go get the basketball, and we got to have guys contain the dribble better. And it's team defense, but it starts, being able to, to guard the basketball. That piece, guarding and rebounding is they're the constants, man. They're the pillars. You got to do it every day.
Following up on that, you mentioned earlier about over-helping and that costing you guys some rebounds tonight. Is that possibly a product of the focus you've placed on communication? Is that where there may be over-helping, is the focus on communication?
It's not over-helping as much because you have to help when you get beat, right? And so, now, I probably used the wrong frame of words there, but a lot of times guys when you help, aren't going to take tough shots over two people. But sometimes when they do, it allows you to be naked on that backside. And now you don't have enough help there. That's why your guards really got to come down there and guard. But if it's big man rebounds, short shots end up going short. So I think that's more of it than anything. Just like when I'm not going to botch his name. When John, number 4 for them, who's a great player, but I botched his name all week, so I'm not going to do it publicly. I don't know why I can't pronounce it, but I can't. I know. They've told me 10 times. So you just got to know your weaknesses, right? Just know your weaknesses. And so, he can make those tough pull-ups, right on him. So, he made those 2 tough threes late, but to start the second half, he got away from us and got a couple easy ones. For him, they're easy. And then he made a couple tough ones after that. I'm not mad about playing good defense and he makes a tough shot. I'm not – I don't think he should dribble in place and shoot a 3. I think you got to make him drive and then make those tough, pull-up 2s. And not be able to do that. So I think that piece of it, but sometimes when those guys are that way and they shoot it and you give them a lot of attention, now you're not in the best position with everything else. But they're a well-coached team, man. James is great. He's fabulous. They haven't, slipped on a banana peel and got into the NCAA tournament. They've earned their way there. They beat Auburn last year as one of the best teams in the country. So, it is what it is. They didn't just have this game here on a neutral court. It's stacked against them. That's a real environment. So like, tip your hat to them. Like they played well. They played good enough to win because they tied the possession battle. So I told our guys, I said, you out-rebound people by 10 and you have 5 fewer turnovers. Like, what does this game look like, right? Well, like, what's this game look like? You're going to win by 20. And so, but that didn't happen, and that's a credit to Yale.
So staying with defense, it seems like when you're in help, the back end rotation to the rim seems to be inconsistent. It's
a good way of putting it.
It was being played.
Yeah.
Is that part of the communication issue
That's
too?
a lack of awareness. It's not hard. You just crack. So anytime you get behind things, the person you leave open is the person furthest away from the ball. That's why you see skips. That's why you see those long passes, because that's who's normally open. Because when you get behind things, you stop layups. Like, you don't get behind things and now people are like, how they get that three? You're like, well, we were behind a play and we stopped a layup because they're going to make layups. They're not always going to make outside shots. So you don't want to get behind is what you have to work towards. But then you also have to work on your rotations and your cracks and be able to, to get down there and stop that. Now you got to rotate out of that. So what we call that, no matter what it is, whether it's ball screen D, a baseline drive, it's a double in the post, we just call it cover 2 like football. Because that guy who's out, he has to cover 2 people. So what a lot of people do through that is they make that burn cut on the baseline or they make that 45 cut on the opposite wing. So now while that guy's playing 2 who's out in the opposite corner in the opposite wing, if they stay out, it's easier to cover because you got to read them. But when you get a dive in there from one of those 2 guys, you got to take that dive. And a couple times we didn't take that dive. A couple times they just beat us up top, just whipped us. And now we have that baseline help. Well, then opposite corner's got to crack down and make him throw. And now cover 2's got to take him. Then they X out, if you can follow me. So a lot of that happens. You've got to be able to play in cover 2 and be able to do it if you're going to get behind plays.
Matt, you've been pretty open about kind of the pluses and minuses of going with Trey at the 5. And obviously that's what you go with down the stretch tonight.
Right.
So I guess just why was that the right move tonight? But then also just what did you see from that, and did you get what you wanted from that?
I just thought that with Cam giving us some skill there, and playing behind things, and then Trey being able to navigate, as that 5. I didn't see anybody that, from a defensive standpoint, that was different. So I just thought offensively, because I thought Cam could give us some things there. He got us some key rebounds also. But, and Trey did a good job. We need more rebounds from Trey. We're kind of tapping the basketball at times instead of going to get it. But, yeah, that's why I stayed with it. I didn't see a difference. And sometimes you're flipping quarters. But I just thought that the skill of Cam, we missed a couple shots in the first half that we knew would be there in the second half, and then Cam stuck them, and that really helped us right there.
I know you haven't watched the film yet, but does it assuage any of the worries that you had defensively about going to that lineup, that small lineup?
Yeah, all the lineups worried me. That was my issue, right? Like think about it in your head, like, who did you feel like did the best job defensively on our front line? It wasn't like nobody was like terrible, but like who was good? Like they're just there. And like now you got to make a difference. And sometimes guys struggle. Like I've coached guys that have struggled, but if they're going to get you 12, 13, 14 rebounds, you stick with that. Like we didn't have anybody eating the glass like that. Our point guard had 9. Cam had 6. But like we got to get some glass eaters. We got to get some guys hitting some people and going to get the basketball. It's good. Like, we've played 3 games here. They're good teams, right? Like, they're good teams. Like, they've been in the NCAA tournament. Yale's been in the NCAA tournament 2 out of the last 4 years. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi's been 2 out of the last 3. I think Northern Kentucky went 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever they did. So, like, we're playing, some teams that I know we're playing here at Mackey Arena, but they're different styles and they're well coached, and now they cause us problems. And that's what you want. You want to be able to